We contain within us all universal knowledge. Having the confidence, the technique, the understanding, and the belief that the statement is true is all we need to get there. This video will explain all of that, and I'll also be performing a channeling activation to boost your ability to channel universal knowledge. I teach an online workshop filled with hours of discussion and hours of activations to help students recognize the difference between their biological selves and their higher selves so they can find a place in this chaotic world. For the most part, we believe that we are our three-dimensional biological selves, set here in an effort to try to survive in a difficult environment. Our three-dimensional biological selves have a limited understanding of the world and their place in it. As biological beings constructed to survive a treacherous environment, it is natural that we rely heavily on our senses for navigation. The problem is, we end up relying so much on our senses that we ignore the voices and the wisdom within, and we often forget or don't even realize that we can turn inward to receive that wisdom. Our main senses are extremely loud. They scream at us all the time to pay attention to sight and to sounds for survival. This makes it very difficult to hear the very quiet voice within that's always there and always available to us and probably always talking to us, but we can't even hear it. We need to give ourselves a pass on this. It's totally natural to focus on the 3D world and to ignore the deep inner one. But now, the time has come to change all of that. I like to look at it like this. Inside each of us is that child, the one that likes to play, to watch the ants on the sidewalk, to stomp in the puddle, to touch the fuzzy thing. The child lives in the moment and enjoys this world exactly as it is. The child is the explorer, and we can get so much out of being that child and exploring this paradise world. Also inside of each of us is the master. This is the one that knows the answer to every question. It's the one that has unconditional love for all, and it's always there for us whenever we need to ask a question. The master unconditionally loves the child and any other personality traits that we display. The thing is, we spend most of our time as a third character, the adult. The adult is the one that regulates time. It decides whether we should engage in childlike behavior or whether we should focus on our responsibilities in this 3D world. The adult thinks it's the master and believes that it needs to use the rules of the three-dimensional reality to make its decisions. The problem is, the adult uses lower vibrational emotional experiences to make decisions. It uses fear, it uses frustration, it uses worry about the future. And if we use lower vibrational emotions to make decisions, then we are closing ourselves off to the possibility of a higher vibrational experience. The adult also thinks it needs to predict the future. And the problem with that is, how good are we at predicting the future? If we were any good at all, we would all be Bitcoin billionaires. Instead, it's just our best guess. And so for all the bravado of people who make wise investments and come up with a 5-year or a 10-year plan, they're really only using the rules of the three-dimensional reality to make those decisions. And that is not the source of universal knowledge. When you look inward, you are likely to meet this master. The identity of the master is completely unimportant. It could be your higher self. It could be source. It could be your spirit guides, or even the ninth dimensional Pleiadians. What matters is that you find it. For this being has always been there, always will be there, and is available to guide your life in this 3D environment. And you'll only find it by turning inward. Here's the process that has worked for me and many of my students, but for everyone it's different. To turn inward and speak to the master within, my best advice is to go into a bit of a meditative state. All you really need to do is take a nice big deep breath, relax for a moment, and then simply ask a question. The question can be absolutely anything. It doesn't really matter. What matters is how you listen for the answer. So if you ask the question silently in your head with your eyes closed, and you wait for an answer, then eventually that is the opportunity for the master to answer. If you don't hear the answer right away and your mind starts to wander, all you need to do is refocus and ask the question again. And if you try to answer the question yourself, that is actually the adult stepping in to try to interfere with your answer. If you were to ask me a question, "Hey Zane, how many brothers and sisters do you have?" And then, instead of waiting for me to respond, you interjected and just said, "I bet you have 4. I would be like, "What are you doing? Like, give me a chance to answer the question," right? The same thing is true when you're talking to the master. Don't try to answer the question. You are just in a state of listening for it to respond. And the state of listening is essentially meditation. Anytime when you listen with your ears and you're outside, notice how you would stop completely so that you don't make any other sounds in your body so that you can pinpoint here what it is that you're listening for. The same thing is true for meditation. You are pausing everything so that you can hear the answers that come from this universal knowledge that you have access to. This can take some time, and it may not work the first few times. It may not even work the first 10 times. But if you stick with it and you keep trying, you will eventually hear the voice of the master or the voice of universal knowledge. And once that dialogue begins, then you can access it anytime you need to. And you'll be amazed at the information that it contains. Before you engage in this, I highly recommend that you watch my video on removing negative entity attachments. This will ensure that the voice that you talk to is not necessarily a negative entity that has placed itself on you, but instead will be a pure energy, a pure entity that wants to see you thrive in this three-dimensional life. This is the basis of the approach to speaking with the master. Practice is all you need to get there because everyone has the ability to do this. But to give you a little boost, I'd like to go ahead and perform a channeling activation that will boost your ability to gain access to the master. So when you're ready, go ahead and get into a comfortable position. Make sure that your feet are flat on the floor, or if you're laying in a bed, that your legs aren't crossed. And when you're ready, go ahead and close your eyes. Now take a nice big deep breath. And as you exhale, feel your body relax. Feel your muscles in your neck, feel the muscles in your shoulders, in your feet, in your arms. Make sure that they're completely relaxed. And I want you to picture yourself standing on a beach. The warm sun is shining down on your face. You can hear the sound of the waves crashing against the shore, the calling of the seagulls, and you can feel the cool sand between your toes. And you've got your arms wide in a pose of acceptance for the unlimited energy of the universe coming to you through our star. And how my activations work are very simple. I'll just say the words breath in, and when I do, you'll take a nice big deep breath, you hold it at the top, you'll wait for me to say the word awaken, and then you can exhale. As you're standing there on the beach, feeling the warmth of the sun on your body, I want you to picture an eye floating out in front of you. This eye is the eye of the master, and it is observing you exactly who you are, exactly where you are right now. And I want you to picture what this master is looking at. What does it see? It sees you exactly where you're sitting, exactly where you're laying, exactly where you're standing right now, wherever that is. And it sees you for exactly who you are. And I want you to recognize that this being sees you as perfect. You are perfect with flaws. You have never made a mistake in your entire life. Everything that you've ever done has gotten you to exactly where you are right now. So congratulations, you did it. And you've never made a mistake in your entire life, and you never will, because it's impossible. Everything that you'll ever do will always get you to exactly where you're supposed to be, then as well. And so, seeing yourself from this perspective, seeing yourself as this truth, can allow you to connect even closer and even easier with the Master. So this activation will increase your ability to channel. And my activations work because I'm working with an extra-dimensional group called the Hathors. And we have the ability to change your timeline. And so when I say the word awaken, I'm awakening you to a new timeline, one in which your ability to channel is much easier and much more powerful than it's ever been before. Breath in. Awaken. Wow. And so when you're ready to turn inward and speak to the Master, to gain access to universal knowledge, to notice the difference between your three-dimensional self and your higher self. When you're ready for all of that, then you can open your eyes. Thank you so much for participating in that activation. I hope it did a lot for you. To finish up, I'd like to offer that you jump on my website and download another activation that I have available. This is a nervousness relief activation. It will help you if you're about to do anything in your life that might normally make you nervous, speaking in front of a group or asking someone out on a date. By downloading this and listening to it 30 minutes before you're about to do the activity that would normally make you nervous, you'll be surprised at how much of a difference it makes. Because what it does is it helps you tune in to a different version of the nervousness emotion. Thanks so much for watching. You can watch these other videos to help you raise your vibration and experience more activations. If you could, I'd love it if you'd subscribe and click on the bell icon so you can be notified of future activations and future videos. I'll see you on the next one.